All right, let's just break the fourth wall right out of the gate here. Sit up straight, unhunch those shoulders, seriously fix that neck. Because yes, I am absolutely talking to you right now. If you're like, well, pretty much everybody, you were probably just slouching and didn't even realize it.
Welcome to this explainer. Today we're taking some pretty dense medical and ergonomic data and flipping it into an actionable, real-world survival guide for your musculoskeletal health. We're talking about protecting the literal backbone of your body, and we're going to do it in a way that actually fits into your crazy, busy routine.
So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the modern posture epidemic, sleeping to save your spine, the ergonomic commute, perfecting your workstation, tech to stop the slouch, and finally, safe lifting and moving. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The modern posture epidemic, the villain of our story. Let's start by putting a name to the invisible enemy causing all those achy necks and stiff lower backs. The Hospital for Special Surgery points out that prolonged sitting and hunching breed these things called cross syndromes. It essentially throws your entire core alignment totally out of whack. Think of it like this. Up top, your chest muscles get incredibly tight while your upper back gets all stretched out and weak. Down below, your hips tighten up and your glutes and abs, they literally forget how to fire. It is basically a perfect recipe for chronic pain.
Moving to Section 2. Sleeping to save your spine. Resetting the clock. Believe it or not, fixing your daytime posture actually starts in bed, where your spine desperately needs to settle back into its natural curve.
Looking at rankings from St. Vincent's Medical Center, we've got a really clear hierarchy here. Sleeping on your back, that is the absolute gold standard for spinal alignment. Side sleeping is a totally solid second place, especially since it reduces pressure if you're supported. But sleeping on your stomach? Yeah, that's the absolute worst. It's a fast track to stressing your cervical spine, mainly because it arches your lower back and forces your neck to twist to one side for, 8 straight hours. No good.
But hey, don't stress if you aren't a perfect back sleeper. Dr. Gerard Girasole points out that if you have to sleep in those less than ideal positions, you can use pillows strategically to flatten out that natural curve and relieve the pressure. If you're on your back, just pop a pillow under your knees. Side sleepers, put one between your knees to stop your hips from twisting. And for you stubborn stomach sleepers out there, placing a really thin pillow right under your pelvis can honestly be a lifesaver for your lower back.
All right, Section 3. The ergonomic commute, moving with purpose. Let's see how your daily travel, whether you're driving or walking, is impacting your body before you even step foot in the office.
ACE Physical Therapy lays out a brilliant pre-drive checklist. First up, sit tall with your shoulder blades absolutely flush against the seat. Then, adjust your rearview mirror. It's a genius hack, really. Setting your mirror while you're sitting perfectly tall acts as a built-in alarm bell if you start slouching later on. Finally, get that lumbar support dialed in and lower the front of your seat so your knees are just slightly below belt level. That completely preserves that crucial C-curve in your spine.
Now, we have to bust a major driving myth. Remember that classic 10 and 2 position we were all taught? Well, if you hold your arms up there, you're actually impinging your shoulder space. Keeping your arms elevated like that can literally lead to tendinitis over time. Instead, drop your hands down to the 3 and 9, or even the 4 and 6 o'clock positions. Just let those shoulders relax.
And for those of you walking to work or maybe just hiking across a huge campus, having proper gait is absolutely essential. Healthline advises keeping your head up, your shoulders relaxed, and your core engaged. A really great mental trick for this? Just imagine a string gently pulling the very top of your head straight up toward the ceiling. It naturally stops you from dropping your head forward and straining your neck.
Section 4. Perfecting your workstation. The 9 to 5 grind. This is it, the biggest hazard zone of all. The place where the temptation to fold yourself up like a human shrimp over a keyboard is just overwhelming.
OSHA guidelines heavily push what they call the 28-2 micro break rule. It's incredibly simple, but man is it effective. You sit for 20 minutes, stand for 8 minutes, and move or stretch for 2. This constant shifting stops your muscles from locking up into those awful cross syndromes we talked about earlier.
So what about the 20 minutes when you are sitting? Mayo Clinic ergonomist Gaylord Bryan highlights a few non-negotiable adjustments. First, get your hips all the way back into the chair. Next, your primary monitor needs to be dead center in front of you, and this is key. The top of the monitor should be right at eye level, not the middle. Keep your arms parallel to the floor and keep that mouse right next to your keyboard. You want to avoid those awkward, repetitive reaches at all costs.
The real takeaway here is that ergonomic safety, it's not just some nice-to-have wellness perk. OSHA actually enforces these hazard corrections. If your setup is causing you pain, employers are expected to resolve those simple fixes within 30 days.
And yes, absolutely, this applies to all you remote and hybrid workers too. On to Section 5, Tech to Stop the Slouch, Digital Accountability. Let's look at how modern biofeedback tech can basically be your external conscience while you're working.
NeuroHealth does a great job breaking down the tech options out there. It really comes down to precision wearables versus app trackers. Wearables, like the Upright Go 2, physically stick to your spine and give you a little vibration the second you start hunching. They are insanely accurate. On the flip side, app trackers use some really clever integrations. Some even use your AirPods sensors to monitor the tilt of your head. They're incredibly convenient for fighting tech-knack without needing to buy a separate gadget.
But hey, if you want to skip the fancy gadgets, there's a brilliant zero-tech rule you can start using literally right now. It's called the 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, look at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds. Not only does this save your eyes, but it gives you a natural, built-in reminder to just roll those shoulders back, take a deep breath, and reset your whole spine.
Finally, Section 6, Safe Lifting and Moving, the Heavy Lifting. We've talked about sitting and standing, but doing the actual physical tasks of your day wrong, that can cause a sudden, lifelong injury. Border states and OSHA outline a very specific checklist for safe lifting, and it goes like this. Feet shoulder-width apart, back totally straight. Brace that core. Now drive straight up using the really dense, powerful muscles of your legs. And always, always keep the load close to your body. Let your legs do the heavy lifting so you completely spare the fragile little structures in your back.
Of course, knowing what not to do is just as important. Never round your back. Never bend just at the waist. But honestly, the biggest takeaway here? Never, ever twist your spine while carrying a heavy load. If you have to turn, you need to pivot your whole body using your feet. A loaded twist is basically a VIP ticket to a herniated disc.
Just consider this number, 1 million. That is the number of workers who end up with acute or chronic back problems every single year just from improper lifting techniques. Think about that. Just 1 second of overestimating your strength or twisting the wrong way can literally lead to a lifetime of discomfort.
As the Hospital for Special Surgery says, your body will actually tell you when you're moving comfortably. You just have to listen. Ultimately, the whole goal of this explainer is to help you build what's called proprioception. That's just a fancy word for your internal, subconscious awareness of where your body is in space. Once you build that awareness, you can move dynamically and, most importantly, pain-free.
So, from the pillows you use at night, to the way you hold your steering wheel, to exactly how high your monitor is, you've now got the data to protect your spine. So I'm going to leave you with this one question. Armed with this entire survival guide, what is the very first adjustment you're going to make to your workspace today?